Okay guys, here are 9 advanced tips for Marvel's Midnight Suns. If you want to learn about hidden mechanics most people have overlooked, earn resources faster, or beat enemies on the hardest difficulty easily, this video is for you. Let's go. The first tip is to use interrogation. Now this is such an underrated research option, and I really recommend getting the interrogation move as soon as possible, because with interrogation you can get bonus credits and even entire gamma coils which give you new cards without doing a thing. It just happens during the course of a fight. So how it works is this: if you've unlocked interrogation, what happens is when you KO an enemy, you'll have the option to interrogate them. This comes in the form of a card. So you'll get this card, then you can play it, and then you'll get a short scene where your hero questions them and it gives you a reward. It's always worth doing the interrogation, as the action doesn't cost heroism, but it does count towards the maximum cards per round usage limits. Interrogations happen randomly, so you might not see it in every mission, but then again you might see it 2 times in a single mission. Such is the power of randomness. There's no way to trigger it other than just attacking people, but you can of course do things to make it more likely to happen. Like for instance, if you knock someone off a building or into a flaming pit, their bodies won't be around to interrogate. Pretty obvious. So make sure to just KO them on flat ground instead. To get the interrogation option, you have to research the truth serum at the forge. You can research this once you're at research level 4. When that's done, head to the war room with 100 credits to build the strike terminal. This upgrade allows you to interrogate people in combat. The next tip is how to farm arcane. In Marvel's Midnight Suns, arcane is a resource that increases the quality of chests. So the higher your arcane level, the better the loot inside the chest will be. And you can actually farm an infinitely refilling source of it. This farm resets every day, so you can go, wake up, farm your arcane, do a mission, then go back to sleep and do it all over again the next day. It never runs out. For this arcane farm, all you have to do is visit the library. In this library, you can interact with the bookshelves to read various passages. When you do that, you'll be given a bunch of arcane. You don't actually have to read them, you just click on them and pretend to read them, but you still get the arcane. There are several shelves to interact with here, so make sure you hit them all every day and your arcane will really start to ramp up. To my knowledge, this is the only resource in the game that replenishes itself like this, apart from those small little glowing orbs that you can see around the abbey. But then again, they are random and you don't really get that much resources with them, and you can never tell what you're gonna get. But with arcane, you've always got a reliable source of it every day in the library. Next up, we're talking friendship. Friendship is one of the most underrated mechanics in Marvel's Midnight Suns, but it's really useful and gives you some amazing bonuses. For instance, with Iron Man, we've got this bonus, which you wouldn't have without that friendship. This is really useful, and it's just an extra way to get the edge in missions. The biggest way to increase your friendship meter is to take people on hangouts. Make sure the hero you're talking to on the hangout is into that sort of stuff personality wise, and by that I mean, for instance, Spider-Man favors the video game hangout, whereas Doctor Strange does not. Don't invite him to play video games, he won't like it. If they don't like the activity, their friendship meter won't go up. Then again, if they really like it, you'll get the maximum friendship points, which is this. This is boosted by even more friendship points if you make the right choices in the conversation during the hangout, and even more points on top if you give them a gift at the end. So hangouts are the best way to boost friendship, alongside the other ways of sparring, complimenting, dialogue choices, all that other stuff. But there is an even more effective type of hangout called a haven, which actually give you even more friendship points than hangouts. Havens can only be used once per hero, and you have to find them manually. So to do that, explore around the abbey, find the glowing blue markers on the floor, and you'll have unlocked a haven. Then you can invite a hero to the haven for the most maximum friendship gains. One last thing on the topic of friendship, do remember to take Hunter into a mission if you're looking to build friendship. If Hunter's not in the mission, you get 0 friendship points. So prioritize whether you want friendship points or if you're just looking to build up a different hero. That's the trade-off. So if you want friendship, invite Hunter. If you want to level up a hero, invite that hero instead of Hunter. On to the bonus objectives now, and I really recommend doing the bonus objectives. These are optional objectives you can select manually on the pre-mission screen screen, and when you fulfill them, you get rewards like credits or arcane keys or what have you. So for this objective, I got 25 credits for knocking back 2 enemies in a single turn as Iron Man, which is very doable. Usually the objectives are so easy that you're going to be doing these accidentally during the course of a mission most of the time, so it's just a matter of activating the objective so it actually does count when you do it. Make sure you customize your loadout to make getting these objectives easier. So if it's a knockback objective, for instance, where you have to knock back a certain amount of enemies, what I do is put a load of knockback cards into my deck. Or if it's an objective where you have to take out 3 enemies in one go, you could select a hero like Ghost Rider or Captain Marvel who have really good area of effect attacks. So it's always worth doing the bonus objectives and customizing your deck and who you bring into the mission to make the most of them. Next up is how to generate more heroism. When I first started playing the game, I always used to be running out of heroism, which meant I couldn't use my best cards, like my hero team up cards or some of the really powerful attacks. But you can customize your deck to really start giving yourself loads of heroism, so much so that it's almost too much to spend. Basically, certain cards give you heroism when you play them, so if you pay attention to the amount of heroism each card gives you, you can go in and customize your loadout and really start to load the deck with heroism, and that will increase your net gains. As a general rule, the lower the damage a card does, the more heroism it will give. Vice versa, if it does loads of attack, it probably won't be giving you any heroism. This means you're usually choosing between heroism and attack power. You can't have one without the other, of course, so there's always that balance. A solid tactic is to use cards that can deal with the immediate situation well enough while still generating a bit of heroism in every round. Then when a tough boss shows up, you can spend all that heroism you've been saving. Heroism stays between rounds, it doesn't reset, so any heroism you've got left over counts towards your ongoing total. So yeah, if you're finding yourself low on heroism, go and have a look at your deck and edit it to give yourself more cards that deal out heroism. On to knockbacks now, and I love knockbacks. But there's a way to do more damage from them. Whenever you knock back or fling an enemy into the environment or off a building, they'll suffer damage. But to apply the most damage after a knockback, you want to knock them into yourself. Attacks that originally wouldn't kill an enemy may just do the trick if you knock them into yourself or one of your own heroes. You don't want to do this at first though when you first start playing the game, because if you knock back an enemy into a hero in the early game, you'll suffer damage. But after doing sparring sessions and leveling up the training yard, you'll unlock the ability for your heroes to do damage during knockbacks, and this effect is applied automatically. One hero who excels at knockbacks is Magic with her whip, which has a great range on it, and also Spider-Man, who has this sort of inverse knockback that makes enemies come towards you rather than away from you. I call this move pulling. Praise the dog. Always make sure to praise the dog. You get rewards for doing it as well. One of the rewards is arcane keys, so you can go and open the chests around the abbey and get whatever's inside, be it a new mask, a color scheme, or whatever, and all from petting the dog. To be honest, I would have done that anyway. You can pet the dog once a day, so just like with the library arcane farming method, make sure to use up your daily allotted dog pets. And also, to make it slightly easier, you can buy a dog bed for your bedroom at the abbey, so the dog is quicker to find. Wake up, pet the dog, done. What a life. And that tip feeds into this next tip about chests. I didn't notice it at first, but you can totally see which chest is actually openable on the map screen. If it's a chest you have the right amount of keys for, the chest icon will look like this. If it's a chest you won't be able to open because you don't have the right amount of keys for it, or if you've already opened the chest and it's got nothing inside, the icon on the map will look like this, a closed chest. So yeah, weirdly, the open chests have a closed icon and the closed chests have an open icon. It doesn't really make sense, but just remember, open icon equals good, closed icon, bad. And the final tip, get yourself a new Iron Man suit. Players of Marvel Strike Force can get a Bleeding Edge suit for free. Marvel Strike Force is a game on mobile, and that's also free, so download that and you'll get a code for the Bleeding Edge suit, which you can use in Marvel's Midnight Suns. To get your code, go into your inbox in Marvel Strike Force and scroll down to the message mentioning the crossover events. now input this code into the marketplace section of Marvel's Midnight Suns, which you can find here. Once you've typed in your code, you'll now see that you've unlocked the Bleeding Edge costume, complete with alternative color schemes. They're thrown in for free as well, and all you had to do was play an awful mobile game for 3 minutes. So those were the 9 advanced tips to help give you an edge in Marvel's Midnight Suns and hopefully take you to the next level. If you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like, and for more Marvel's Midnight Suns videos, subscribe to the channel.